Alright, my name is Snicho. Today is March 10th, 2014. Uh, the name of the business is Mercolab. The type of business is related to international trading. The location of the business is in Wellington, Florida. The person I'm interviewing today is Jose Nicho, and he is the president and founder of the company. The size of the business, there's a headquarters and 4 satellite locations. Some of the family members that are associated with the business are his sister, who's a controller, a brother that's a sales coordinator, and a brother that's a sales manager. Okay, so let's start off by saying that, or what are your credentials? What's your background in this industry?
Yes, I'm a civil engineer. I also hold a master's degree from Thunderbird, and I have been in this industry, which is the food service industry, for about 25 years. I'm a Peruvian born. I have been in the States for 30 years, and this is pretty much what I have done since I graduated from college and started working.
What made you decide to open up your own business?
After having worked for my first employer, which was a company that manufactured ice machines, I was given the opportunity to become an independent representative, which means that I was no longer an employee, a salary person. I would earn my living by doing the same thing, which was selling and marketing ice machines, but the compensation was based on commissions. And after 25 years, I can tell you that was the right decision because it was not only rewarding and profitable uh, financially, it was also very educational since in these 25 years I have learned about the industry in different countries. I have managed to also meet very interesting customers who eventually became good friends.
Alright. So how much time, money, and planning did it take before you decided to open up your own business?
I think it went in phases. Initially, you never know exactly how much money is going to take. I think what you always have is the idea to do something different, is that drive to truly become an entrepreneur, to succeed in doing something that you really like. In my case, it was the selling in the place that I grew up in, which is Latin America. In terms of time of planning, I would think it was about a period of 2 years that I kept thinking, should I do it? Should I continue with this as an employee, or should I become an independent person? I think it was probably 2 years that was the time that it took me.
Okay. Alright. How did you obtain startup capital for the company?
Good question, because it was a combination of some savings. I think from the moment I was convinced that that was the direction that I was going, I, along with my wife, uh, decided to manage our expenses and start saving more than normal towards this goal, which was to open this company. So I would say that in our case, it was a period of aggressively saving 6 months and always looking for uh, plan Bs, like what about if things don't work out and it takes longer than 6 months? Should I be able to call the bank and get some financing? Should I be able to talk to a relative that can come to the rescue? But I would say 6 months was the time.
So Mercolat, what's the significance of that name? Where'd you come up with it?
Yeah, because the market that we serve is Latin America, and the word Merco means market. It's the combination of Latin market, and that's what we do. We don't do Europe, we don't do Africa, we specialize in Latin America. That's the reason of the word Merco.
Oh. So just to reiterate, what products what do you sell specifically?
Yeah. As I said, initially is the food service industry, and the type of product that we sell is food service commercial kitchen equipment, which means anything from ovens, fryers, ice machines, refrigerators, freezers, those type of things. Anything that you may or may not see in a hotel, in a restaurant, everybody needs professional equipment in order to work in a restaurant, in order to run a hotel, in order to manage a fast food restaurant.
Okay, so going off of that, who's your customer demographic?
Yeah, different types because it changes by the country. We have countries that might be more advanced in terms of the concept and the level of investment in this type of product. Uh, but for the most part, is hotel chains. That would be one type of customers. Another one would be fast food chains. We also have supermarkets. We have institutional customers such as hospitals, factories that design cafeterias to feed their people. But I want to explain something. Those are end user customers. The way we sell our product is not necessarily to the end user. We use a channel of distribution before we go to the end user. We sell to wholesale distributors that for the most part are stocking our ice machines, ovens, and they in turn are using their sales force to sell to the demographics I just mentioned.
All right. Yes. So going off of that, what things do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I think in these 25 years things have changed because year one, month one, I did everything. I was the one answering the phone calls. I was doing all the traveling. I was working with the different factories that we were representing. I was collecting for invoices that of product that was shipped. I was even solving some technical questions because of the language and the translation, a part of being the contact between the field and the factory. So I was doing everything initially. But as Mercola grew, we grew in people. We grew in representations. So things changed where I was pretty much in charge of the sales and the marketing of the company, managing a group of people. So I wasn't the only one selling anymore. I was working along with a team of people that were traveling to their assigned territories, and I would manage how to sell the product. I will also work with factories on how to, in some cases, design product that was specific to Latin America, because what we learned in those 25 years is that the products that are sold in the U.S. in some cases are not the ones that Latin America will buy. You will need to make some modifications, you will need to work with engineering, you will have to work with a service department, and of course sales and marketing of that particular factory to come up with the right product.
All right. So, is there any special ways or methods that you go about advertising or promoting your business?
Yeah, also had changed because in 25 years, when we started, there was no internet. At that time, when you wanted to promote yourself or when you wanted to even get new customers, it was the yellow pages. It was about contacting people that you knew. Now, obviously, things have changed where we are with Twitter, Facebook, of course, having a very powerful website, creating blogs and creating different ways to not only advertise your company Mercolat, but also the companies that we represent.
So you mentioned your website is what is the use of that? Is it solely for promotion, or do you sell products through the website, or how's it work?
The, we have different websites. The main website is basically to show, to advertise, if you will, the identity of Mercolat. What we do, who we are, what product we represent, where is that we are located, those type of things. It becomes almost a tool for the factory to give us the more detailed information about the product, and also for distributors to understand what brands we represent.
All right. Are there any legal issues you have to deal with as far as running your business or transactions?
I will say there are even more legal issues than an American company doing business in the US. Because remember, Latin America is a very large territory where we have to deal with 40 different countries. And in every country you have their own legislation, you have their own import restrictions, they have their own trade agreements between countries. So the answer is, I think it's much more complex than just only doing business in the States. You also have taxation, which is very different in every country.
Interesting. And so what country specifically do you get most of your business from?
Yeah, I will say that the top markets for us are Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, of course, that has grown very much in recent times, Peru.
Alright, do you have any advice you can give somebody that's just starting out a company or business?
Yes, I would say always do what you like. I think that's probably the strongest drive that you need to have. You need to like, you need to, I guess, realize that you are good at what you do, because you can like something but you might not be that good. But if you like it and you are good at doing that particular thing, you will be successful much faster. And do a lot of planning, have a lot of faith, because many times you might have all the ingredients, capital, you might have some contacts, but if it's not your time or it's not the will of God, you cannot force that situation. It just has to happen.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. And this concludes this interview.
Thank you.